He Named Me Malala is a moving portrait of Malala Yousafzai, the young woman who was shot by the Taliban for advocating for girls' education and who is now a Nobel Peace Prize winner. It's the latest work of Oscar-winning documentarian Davis Guggenheim. Marcia McMillan recently had the chance to talk with him during the Toronto International Film Festival.
You named her after a girl who spoke out and was killed. It's almost as if you said, she'll be different.
You're right.
I want people to learn from the experience I had. My father only gave me the name Malala. He didn't make me Malala.
Malala has her own story to tell, but this seems like a father-daughter story. Why did you decide to tell it that way?
You know, the news we get from this part of the world is sometimes, or often, scary and disturbing, and you feel like, oh, those problems are just so hard to deal with. I wanted to tell the story of this family that's just like my family, because most of the global south is very peaceful. And I have 2 daughters, and I'd love my daughters to learn from this incredible family, this inspiring father, this courageous daughter, and there are lessons for me and my family. Their kitchen table is like my kitchen table.
Really?
Yeah.
Malala seems to have a wisdom beyond her years because of what has happened to her. In meeting her and spending time with her family, is there still some innocence there, some innocent adolescence?
Oh yeah, she's an ordinary girl. She's like my daughters. You know, she surfs the web for people she likes to look at, and she worries about her physics tests. You see her not do very well. You see her arm wrestle her brothers and tease them, and she's just an ordinary girl. I think that's one of the things that's so refreshing about this, is she's not this saint, this perfect person that's impossible to be part of. She's an ordinary girl who made a choice to speak out and raise her voice. And I think there are people everywhere, there are girls everywhere that can be inspired by her and be just like her.
Is she aware of the profound impact she's had around the world?
She is, in one way. You know, it's important to her to get her message out. There's 66 million girls who are out of school, so she feels like she represents them. But I think she remembers this horrible time in Pakistan where her rights were taken away, where her family suffered. And now she's okay, and she feels very deeply that there are many, many girls that are suffering just like her. Right now there are refugees coming into Europe. It's a horrible crisis, and that she worries about that. That's what she cares. That's what she worries about, is how do I, Malala, speak for those girls? And I think there are girls here in Canada that feel like my life needs some meaning, and they can go to this movie and learn from it and be part of this movement.
And despite everything that has happened to her, she seems homesick. She misses the dusty streets, the dirty streets.
Yeah. I mean, where they live in Pakistan is a beautiful place. It's a tourist destination. They had a ski lift. It's not this terrible, awful place. It was paradise, and they had a beautiful school, just like schools here. And then these terrible people, the Taliban, came in. So it's important for us to understand that this kind of thing can happen anywhere, and that when that happens, we have to decide, what are we going to do? And I think all of us are confronted with some tough things. But she and her father said, we're going to speak out for this. We're going to step up. We're going to fight for what we believe. And I think that's why this story is so universal. That's why people here in Canada will appreciate this story.
And you mentioned that you have daughters of your own. Was there something unique about Malala's relationship with her with her father that you thought you could apply to your own relationship with your daughters? Yeah,
I would leave their kitchen table and fly home to LA to my kitchen table and say, am I that kind of father? Do I believe my daughter is just as equal as my son? And I have to say that watching them changed me. You know, I believe that they are equal, but did I act? You know, when I had something interesting to say, did I say it to my son or to my daughter? Did I ask my daughter the same question as my son? And I think we think in our Western society that everything's equal, but I think we haven't gone all the way. And I want my daughters to feel like they can speak out just like Malala. They can raise their voice, and they can do anything. And that's what this extraordinary family has taught me.
And were they open to you, this LA guy, this American guy?
Got the weird hair, going into this. You know, when I knocked on their door 2 years ago, I wondered who I would meet. I'd never really gotten to know a traditional Muslim family, and I had no idea what I would meet. And what I met was this funny, irreverent family just like mine. You know, so very soon they opened their house to me because they're very generous people, and they let me in. And very soon I let them into my own family, and we became very, very close. And you'll see it in the movie. This movie has a lot of love in it. It's got a lot of passion in it. It's got a lot of humor in it, you know. And I think when people see that, they'll be inspired to think about this part of the world differently, and to believe that every girl can raise her voice.
Let us pick up our books and our pens.
He Named Me Malala will be in theaters October the 9th.